Okay, we're here on a recovery run, so figured it'd be a good day to recap the Kook 10k for you guys and talk a little bit about the differences in Lisa's training between college and now that have allowed her to PR.
I'll tell you all about it.
Coming up.
All right, I'm just gonna take off. My PR was from college. I'd only actually raced a 10K twice ever before, and both were in 2009. 36:37 was my PR. I kind of didn't know what to expect because it's not a distance I'm used to racing. So I ended up finishing this one in a 34:43, which was almost a 2-minute PR. I negative split my 5Ks, and that was a nice surprise, especially given that this course was a downhill out, uphill back. My final 5K in this race was 17:16, which was 1 second off my 5K PR that I set in November.
Let's go, Lisa! Good job, Lisa! Use the downhill!
So, yeah, all in all, really good race. Good indication of my fitness being improved. I had fun. I really enjoyed the 10K distance. I was leading for the first 400 or so. I dropped from like 5:10 pace to my race pace, which became 5:35 overall. I felt good most of that race. I was working with a couple of people for a bit, and then eventually for the middle miles with Chloe Gustafson, who had come from Colorado, but she is actually had previously been here and was a part of one of the local teams here. So everyone knew Chloe along the course as we made the flip halfway through, and all the people in the race behind us were cheering us on, calling her by name. That was great because then I knew her name at that point, and we could encourage each other by name. With about 2 miles to go is when Chloe felt like she couldn't come with me, so I tried to get her to, but she was like, go get her. I just felt strong. You know, uphills are really my jam, and I just went hard on it. Held that pace as I passed the second place girl, who I believe is a pro from Mexico.
Let's go, Lisa!
Is she second?
Yeah, Lisa! Let's go, honey, all the way!
Is she gonna be second?
I think she's gonna be second. Let's go, Paula!
On the younger side. And then I just brought it home hard and was pretty thrilled with the second place finish.
Awesome.
Watch out, kid. You know, there are so many things that are different. One, that's a big one, is that in college, I was brand new to the sport. So although I played soccer growing up, I was a recreational runner, jogger. I didn't have a lot of miles behind me. You know, I'd maxed out at like, I don't even know, weekly, but a 7-mile run would have been my longest. And it was just sporadic, my running. So I joined the team my junior year in college and kind of jumped hard into training, given that I had no base. So at this point, although my training has been kind of all over the map for the last 15, 20 years, 15, I have a substantial base behind me. So that's one significant difference. Along with that, my mileage is way higher now than it ever was in college. I used to max out at about 45 for the week. And even at that, it was always pushing it. I was always fighting injury. Now I'm touching 80 and pretty comfortably holding 65 or so. That's a big difference for sure. My body's just handling more volume in general. And then when it comes to workouts, tempo, track stuff, speed work. In college, I was doing 1 to 2 a week, and they were light in volume. At this point, we've gotten me up to 3 and sometimes 4 workouts a week. Some of those on the road with tempo work, little threshold, 1 or 2 on the track per week, with usually one of those workouts getting up there in volume to 5 or maybe 6 miles of work. So, I went into this race having worked hard for this distance, just a lot more times than I did in college. Injury prevention, like I said, I did battle injuries in college. I didn't know one thing from the next when it came to rehabbing those or preventing them. I got PT. I would go to the training room. That's about as much as I knew how to do. But now it's more a daily prehab approach to injury prevention, between strength training, which I did 0 of in college, and now I'm doing at least one strength training session a week. 1 to 2, yeah. But also in years past, I've had seasons where I've done 3 to 4. So I've just got more of a strength base for sure. And then I do yoga 6 days a week now. I run 6 days a week and yoga on all the days I run. All of that flexibility work has made a tremendous difference in just how loose I feel when I'm running and able to manage all the extra miles and the workload from harder workouts that would otherwise leave me pretty tight, pretty sore, but I don't feel nearly as much of that as I would without the yoga and strength work. Nutrition's another big difference. In college, I honestly just didn't even think about nutrition as impacting running at all. The two were totally separate in my mind. Not only did I not think carefully about it, but I also was battling an eating disorder at that point. So I was not almost ever properly fueled for a run or a race. So I was performing off of little to no nutritional base. And now I've been very intentional about making sure I'm fueling enough before, during, and after runs, and then in between. I often, in fact, most days at this point, I will take my fluid performance drink before runs just to give me some extra carbs and energy calories. That's about 100 calories per serving. And if I'm running more than 80 minutes or so, I'm fueling in a race with gel every 45 to 55 minutes. Post-race, I'm taking my fluid recovery shake pretty much immediately after finishing runs, with some added protein in it, and then just making sure I eat pretty much right away, and then spend the rest of the day kind of eating all day. I do eat full meals, but I also do a lot of snacks, grazing. Another one is sleep. My sleep patterns in college were very collegiate. Late nights, very inconsistent on a wake-up time. I'm going to venture to guess that I averaged around 6 hours a night. These days, I'm always shooting for 8, and I average pretty much around 8, 7:45 to 8:15, I'd say. So being rested, of course, contributes to better training and racing. And then just the consistency in my sleep patterns. Bed time and wake up time are much steadier, and my body operates on more of a rhythm now. I had a team in college as soon as I joined the team, of course, and I didn't always have people to train with at my pace exactly, but I had a team to support me and me to support them. And yeah, I lost that for about 12 years, trained by myself, because life stage with our little ones just didn't allow for me to, meet up with other people during the times they were running, or even the few extra minutes it would take to drive somewhere to meet people I didn't have. So that's been a real blessing right now in this season, where I've been able to meet up with people again and build a running community, have the shared motivation of and accountability of training together with other people. With some people, I've been able to do hard workouts alongside others, and that's always huge. Oh, look at all those surfers out there. So many. Back to the fact that I was new to the sport in college, and my college coach was amazing. He was working with what we knew, which was very little coming into that few years of competing. And nowadays, we have all sorts of data on me, actual race times where I think I actually hit my potential for that point in time, that we can base training paces off of. So that's a benefit that we didn't have in college, that I think has translated to better racing and also just more accurately tailored training. One last thing that I'll add is that in college, I had a certain handsome fella training alongside me, but now you've got somewhere around 127 years of schooling behind you. That's what it feels like, at least. And all that science knowledge has been put to good use in my training. And now it's pretty dialed in with all the science behind all the decisions we make. On any given day, I say, hey, this feels funny, or feeling pain here, or this piece of my training feels like too much or too little. We have a conversation about that, and then a lot of research goes into any decisions we make moving forward. But yeah, all in all, I would say I did not ever expect when I was in my 20s to be finding a new level in my late 30s. You know, that's been a real surprise. You saw that in me. You thought it was there. And I just kind of nodded along and was like, sure. But I figured I had hit my peak by about 30. You know, I knew that a lot of women do perform amazingly in their mid-30s and some into their 40s. But I just didn't expect to be one of them. There are so many factors that go into training and that can contribute to setbacks in training. You know, so many things on any given day, let alone whole seasons of life and training. So I just happen to be, and I'm extremely grateful to be in this stretch right now where so many of those factors are aligning, and it's just working out currently for me to train pretty optimally. And I know that's not where everyone's at, and it's not where I was ever at before now. There have always been pretty significant things that have kept me from this kind of optimal training. So, you know, be encouraged with whatever your current circumstances are. You can make the most of them if it's what you want to do. And, you know, Jacob and I decided together during this stretch of our life that it was time. This was something I wanted to do. I wanted to run hard after some goals that I hadn't been able to conquer yet, and he was ready to support me in that. Circumstantially, I mean, like, our kids are old enough that we could make it work.
Hey guys, thanks for coming with us on this training run, this training talk, a little bit of a different pace. Let me know in the comments if you'd like this sort of a long form conversation on the go, as it were. Stay tuned for more training talks like this, more footage of the USATF Road Series. Lisa's goal is to win the big one. So, series of 5 races, and coming up, we're gonna detail the 5K, Carlsbad 5,000. So you don't want to miss that. Stay tuned for more sports science, strength and conditioning, and endurance running talk on this channel. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.